Hey guys, it's Abby here. So in this video, I'll be showing and explaining how I changed out the ink system to this Workforce 7710 printer. The first thing I did was I took the screws off so I could take off the side cover. That way I would have access to unhook all of these cables and FFC and the ground wire that all connect to the scanner so I could detach it from the printer. Once I have all that, I can just take off the scanner, lift it off, and then I'll just be working with the printer. So here I unlocked the print head lock so I could move the carriage over. And this is where I'm just trying to take out these small cartridges that the person who sent in this printer has put them in this little 3D built cartridge holder. So there's small tubes and larger tubes. The small tubes is what leads from the cartridges to the ink system, and then the larger tubes is what leads from the cartridges to the print head. So what I'm doing right now is I'm detaching the small tubes from the cartridges, and then I'm going to pull them out of the carriage through a little hole that this person has created. And once I take that out, then I'm going to work on taking all of the small tubes out. And as you can see, it just runs along, the front of the printer here. So they used a piece of tape to tape here, and I'm just undoing the tape and taking these tubes. I'll just move the carriage over so I can get better angle and grip of the tubes. And as you see where these FFC cables run from the main board to the print head and everything, that's basically where you will put in to hold so the tubes don't get in the way. There's just little notches that you slide them in. And I'm peeling off the tape that holds this big tank for the ink. And then there's another hole there on the side of the printer that goes through. Here's where I'm just trying to show that there was air bubbles in the tubes and a lot of dried ink, which is why we were replacing this in the first place. I couldn't get much to come through, so now I'm replacing it with a new one. You're just going to put the new smaller tubes through that hole and basically just going to feed it back through where we took it out in the first place. So it's very simple. These people also had a 3D built little hook to hook onto the side of the printer that held that ink tank. And so here you can see I'm just pushing down the small tubes into the little metal hooks that where those FFC cables also hook in. That's where those small tubes just hook onto, so when the carriage goes back and forth when it's printing, it doesn't get caught. And again, I just taped it up in that little area where it bends. So now we're facing the other way, if it freaked you out for a second for the camera angle. But now the holes where in the side of the carriage, that's where you're just going to push the small tubes through. And the tubes are all connected together, but it's really easy just to rip them apart like I'm doing here. You just got to get a grip on them because they're small. So rip them apart enough for them to reach each cartridge. And here's where you need to fill up your new ink tank, right? So I got a new one and it was empty, so I'm putting in the sublimation ink that the person was using from our place, and then I just took a little syringe with a needle and I pulled the ink through those small tubes so they would reach to the cartridges. So basically you just do that with all 4 of your cartridges, and then you can set them into that little 3D holder. And again, any other type of print head cleaning is something completely different, but this video was just to show you how to change out the ink system, and it really is fairly easy. So hopefully this video shows you that you can do it as well. The only other small encounter I faced while doing this task was you'll see when you disattach it, there's a small little plastic piece that goes into that cartridge. For the black one, for a little bit, that plastic piece got stuck in the tube, so it was a little hard for me to suck it out. But if that happens to you, just grab the plastic piece, pull it out of the tube, and stick it back in the cartridge in that top piece. You'll see it with the yellow one and all the other ones, there's that plastic piece. But that was the only thing I really ran into when doing this that gave me a little struggle. But really just pull that plastic piece out and stick it back where it belongs if it gets stuck in a tube somewhere. Anyways, happy printing, we got it running.